Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this December 2nd version of AM Live on EOA. Your connection to Eastern Oregon, we're glad that you are here with us this morning. If you want to find our content, if you go to EOA.network, that will take you to a link tree where you will find all of the locations of our Facebook, our YouTube channel, our Roku, our Instagram, and then also Spotify, where all of these episodes end up later in an audio and video version where you can watch offline. Glad that you're here with us.
And our website, too.
And our website. Thank you. Yeah, and check it out. Bennett's been working on the website. There is a new updated sports page, and there's a page for the AM show. And so be sure and check that out. That's the easiest way to find the most recent episode of this. So glad you're here. Here in a little bit, we are going to have Rusty Hoddle with us, and Rusty is with the Living Nativity that is getting ready to kick off. That's been going for the last several years with live animals and such, and he'll be here to talk to us about that happening and what's going on. So.
Is that why it's called a living nativity?
Yep. Well, and the people are.
Well, I mean, what do they bring a camel?
Well, they have in the past.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know we had camels
No,
here.
it's right. They have this.
They have to
they
ship that thing over here?
well, I don't know. He'll have to. But the camel is not going to be here this year because he died.
Oh, that sucks.
And so they have another. That's part of what he'll tell us about. They have another camel that's in training, but it's not quite ready. But no, that's been super unique. Yeah. In fact, I had yeah. Anyhow, the camel is. Everybody has always loved seeing the camel. But
well, it just makes me think of that movie, Zootopia. The little Crash, or whatever his name is. The DMV guy. He tells the joke about the camel. What do you call a three-hump camel? Pregnant.
Pregnant?
But he says it really slow because he's a DMV worker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wasn't even aware, but I guess Zootopia 2 came out this last weekend or
I'll
something.
bet you. We were talking about that at your house on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I thought you were, but I heard you talk about it, but I hadn't put it together that...
Briar and I were talking about
Yeah.
it. She's a Zootopia. I love that movie. I think it's so funny. My goodness.
Yeah.
They make movies so adults can enjoy them too.
Right.
Kids movies, by far. Like,
Yeah. No.
all these hidden innuendos and like, especially these like nowadays, it's crazy.
Yeah, they no, I guess I heard that it was like the biggest opening for an animated feature ever or something.
Well, the first one was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
At the very end of the first one, the sloth who works at the DMV gets pulled over going like 150 miles an hour in this like sports car, and it's a sloth just sitting there. It's so funny.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, did you have a good weekend last week?
Yeah. Slow. It's my slowest week of the year, probably.
Sports-wise,
this one or the one at Christmas.
Yeah.
There's just not, they're transitioning because this is. So even the week of Christmas is still busier than now because they're playing games still during that week. But this week, like EOU's gone for everything. Volleyball's waiting for the national tournament, and then the high school's right in between fall and winter. So there was nothing. It was actually really nice, kind of.
Just kind of take it easy for a bit.
Yeah, it was a good week, a really good week.
Well, good. Yeah.
Benny, pull that Optimus Christmas Bazaar thing up. Yeah, so the 13th, Riviera, 9-3. The Optimus is doing their annual Christmas Bazaar and auction. They still have room for vendors, so you can go to their Facebook page, and I'll put it in the comments here in a couple minutes, and you can sign up to be a vendor there as well. That's a couple weeks away, week and a half away. So there's going to be a Santa Claus, bunch of events, raffle. The Optimus. I think Nick was telling me that this is like, it's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
And Optimus does a lot of good things for this community. They're super involved in youth sports and just everything youth. You see them at everything. I mean, you go to 1A, 2A volleyball tournament, the state tournament. They're there volunteering. You know what I mean? And they care about the youth of this community for sure.
Yeah, and the fields. I mean, that's the main. They raise. I mean, they raise money, but most of what they do goes directly into providing for youth sports. Do they do equipment too, or do they do mostly fields? I'm trying to remember.
Well,
It
there's
seems
not
like
really a lot to do with fields
but
now.
it seems okay.
It's already there.
Yeah, right.
But they do. They paid for a lot of football.
Right.
For gear. And,
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
yeah,
like
yeah.
for the younger kids. And,
Right.
And then they do that. They do like if if Little League says, hey, we need something, Optimus is always there to pick it up. They do a lot with Little League. It's mainly like younger kids, but they do stuff for the middle school and the high school too. I mean, they do whatever they can.
Right.
You know?
And our advertisers, like Northwest Furniture and Mattress, have been involved in Optimus and it's one of the reasons we like those kind of vendors is because they give back to the community over and over again, not only with money but with time. So
a lot of time.
A lot of time. Yep. All right. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
Okay.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Settle in for every touchdown in the Flex Steel Z-Cliner. Designed for all-day comfort with adjustable support, breathable upholstery, and tech-savvy controls. Find yours at Northwest Furniture and Mattress before kickoff. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm off Adams in La Grande. LHS girls basketball kicks off the season tomorrow at home versus Umatilla. JV starts at 4 while the varsity starts at 5:30. The boys will kick off their season as well, but they'll be on the road at Umatilla for a 7 p.m. tip-off. Boys wrestling is in Estacada this weekend to start their season at the Ranger Classic, while the girls will be in Scappoose at the Knife River Classic to start their season. The top-ranked Mountie volleyball team will kick off pool play in the national tournament tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. our time versus Huntington. So this pool play, there's 3 teams in the pool. They each play each other one time. The team with the best record goes to the final 8, and that's just how it works for the national tournament. EOU is the number 1 seed in their pool and the number 1 seed overall, so they'll be facing number 16 and number 24. For ways to watch, go to eousports.com. EOU men's and women's basketball both have their home and CCC openers this Friday versus LCSC. The women are 8-0. They ran the table in the preseason. They haven't lost. Their season in the CCC will tip off at 2 p.m. at Quinn, while at noon. The women's game is at noon. The men's game right after the women's game. Their CCC season and home opener tips off at 2. Both teams are at home as well, hosting Walla Walla on Saturday. Now, those games are later because of the Walla Walla, their religious stuff. So those games start at 6 and 8 p.m., a late one for the men on Saturday. The EOU men's wrestling team is in Crete, Nebraska at the Wayland Baptist Duels, while the women's team joined them in Crete at the Doane Open. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Go check out their showroom. They want to make you comfortable in your own home.
Good stuff. Thanks, man.
Quick one today.
Yeah.
I like those.
Yeah, a little bit easier, a little bit less work than what you normally have to do.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just it's just schedule stuff.
Yeah.
This week. So there'll be plenty next week though.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's take a look outside, and it's cold this morning. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was like freezing rain when I came out of the house and down the sidewalk, and it looked wet, but there was some slickness to it. So it's right close to freezing. So let's look at the graphic. So 40 degrees right now, or 40 degree high today.
Yeah.
And 27 tonight, so it's going to get cold, and it's going to be kind of like that for the next several days.
Yeah, but it's not going to get as cold. It warms up for the low. Look.
Yeah.
It gets all the way up to 39
Yeah.
on Thursday, and then 41.
Yeah. So on Friday, there's like a 5-degree difference between morning and night.
Yeah,
So,
this is going to be the same.
Yeah.
Crummy, raining, and just
Yep.
miserable.
yep. So, alrighty. Well, glad you guys are here with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benny was taking an extended graphic break there. I think he fell asleep back there.
It's all right. All right. Well, hey, glad you guys are here with us. We're going to be right back with Rusty, who's going to talk to us about the living nativity. We'll be right back. All right, we're back with Rusty. How are you today? How you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Except for the weather,
Except for the weather, it's a little cool.
right?
Yeah. So yeah, I think you need a little bit more padding. Kyle and I are not quite as cold. You are way lean.
I'm pretty much cold all the time.
I can imagine. So well, hey, thank you. Glad that you're here with us. Yeah, and we are actually connected. We've been Gabe, who worked for us for a couple of years.
Right, as my son-in-law.
Yeah, as your son-in-law, and in fact, that's where I connected with you at their wedding, which is just a few months ago now. And
Right. I appreciate you doing the sound for us. At
Yeah.
The reception.
yeah, you bet. And how that was a fun event. And so, well, we're here to talk today about the living nativity. And so, but I guess first, tell me a little bit about you. What do you do, and then how did you get involved in the living nativity?
Well, I'm a physical therapist at Mountain Valley Therapy. Right now, I used to work for Grande Hospital for quite a few years as a physical therapist.
Okay.
And our church, Seventh-day Adventist Church in La Grande, has sponsored this. We moved away in 2002, and when we came back, we heard about this event that they had started while we were gone. So I've been involved just helping out for the last few years. And then this last winter, after we had Living Nativity last year, the people who were organizing it decided to retire because they've been doing it for quite a few years. And so the discussion came up, are we going to continue with Living Nativity, or are we just going to take a few years hiatus? And my grandson, who lives with me, is really excited about it every year, and I really didn't want to see it die out.
Yeah.
And so I volunteered to take it over for this year, and my idea was to breathe some new life into it. We have the same people that help out every year. Well, every now and then we get new faces, but and I wanted to do something different so that people would be excited about it again.
And so for people who might not know what a living nativity is, it literally, that is literally what, because normally we think of a nativity as the cutout characters or the 3D characters that you have Mary and Joseph
Right.
and baby Jesus, and you drive by it and they're like little statues. And the living nativity is literally people playing those roles.
Correct.
Right. But this is more than just the single scene of Mary and Joseph. And I mean, talk about, and maybe Bennett, you can show some of the pictures, that talk about what it is that people will experience when they do this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let me talk about what we have done in the past.
Yeah.
In the past, we had visitors come in the parking lot. They go across the bridge from the church to the school area, and there's walls of Bethlehem, and they have to go past the Roman guards and go through the census. And then there were several outdoor displays. There was a blacksmith and chicken market and different things. They go through the Temple of Jerusalem, then there's the inn, and then there's Mary and Joseph. Well, I think it was after last year or the year before, I had encouraged somebody to come and see us. And they said, well, we looked around and then we left. They never even went inside. So that's the outdoor part. And then you go inside to the gymnasium, and then we have that whole setup as the entire town of Bethlehem. Mm-hmm. And they had missed 90% of what we do because they didn't really know where to go. So this year, we're going to do things a little bit differently. As you come into the parking lot, you're going to go through the census booth because, of course, that's the reason why this all came together.
For you being there.
There's a census. And then there will be the Camp of the Wise Men. So when you come in, you're in Jerusalem now. And you go through the Camp of the Wise Men. The Wise Men are trying to figure out where to go and what to do. And so you follow the Wise Men. We're going to do tours this year.
Interesting.
This is totally different. And the people will be following the Wise Men. They're going to have to go to the priest to find out where to go and what this is all about. And so they go to the temple in Jerusalem, and then the high priest is going to talk to them and tell them that they need to go to Bethlehem. Then they're going to cross the bridge into Bethlehem. And then I'm changing a little bit so that it flows a little bit better. So they go, and the shepherds, there'll be a camp for the shepherds. They'll talk to the shepherds will tell them their story. And then they'll go to the inn. The innkeeper will tell them his story, and then they go to the stable. And I want the stable to be the main focus this time. And Mary and Joseph will tell their story. So it's a little bit different in that they'll be in a tour, and then the people in the scenes will talk to them. And so in that way it's different. Then I have another idea that when they go into the town of Bethlehem, there's going to be a bit of a time skip where they go into Bethlehem, but it's Bethlehem after Jesus has passed through the town. And so they'll find out what difference Jesus made in their lives.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So we're going to do that a little bit differently. But once they go into the town of Bethlehem, we have an apothecary, we have a coin exchange booth, and they'll talk a little bit about the different coins. For instance, when you went to the temple in Jerusalem and you wanted a sacrifice, you couldn't use your Roman coins. You had to exchange them for temple coins. And that was one of the places where the religious leaders were ripping people off because they would make them pay really high prices for their temple coins, and then they had to buy their sacrifice. And this is one of the things that Jesus protested about when he threw the money changers out of the temple. So you'll learn that story. And then you pass through, we'll have a potter. Usually we have somebody actually throwing pots. I'm not exactly sure who we're going to get for that this year. We have candle maker where the kids can make their own candles. They do dipping candles. There's a carpenter who makes toys, hammers for the kids. And this year we're going to have a scavenger hunt. I think it was last summer, we were going through the Dalles, and we went to the Discovery Center in the Dalles, and they have a whole museum that you go through. But our grandson was really excited because they had a scavenger hunt, and you had to run around in the museum and find different things, mark them down, and then you got a prize at the end. So we're going to do something similar to that, where the kids will go on their scavenger hunt. They have to find the symbols, and then they end up at the fish market to get their prize. So that's different. And then from there, you go on into the fellowship room, and there'll be live music and refreshments. And most of the, well, I shouldn't say most, a lot of the churches in the Grande are involved and provide a lot of the music that we have. And some of them are also helping out with running the shops and doing different things.
Very cool. So, and I have to say that the bridge creates a really interesting transition point. It has in the past. You know, you have in the past you've had people managing where people park because there's a lot of coming and going, and
Right.
and it's been during certain times it's been busy. I mean, you'll have the parking lot is nearly full, and you've got to find places for people to park. But when you go over that bridge, it's kind of like a little transition point. And
Right, you're going into the town
Yeah.
of Bethlehem.
yeah,
So
and
that
that is very cool. So, so now, how long have you been involved in this?
So the first year that we moved back here, I think, was 2017, and they didn't do the Living Nativity that year. I think that was kind of a transition year or something. And then, so the next year, I was involved for the next 2 years, and then we had COVID, and we weren't able to do it during COVID. And then the next, well, how many years has it been since then?
Yeah.
About 5. So I was involved. So I've been involved, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
I
Now-
was usually the innkeeper.
Oh,
So I
okay.
didn't have a huge role. I helped out. I did some of the music for a while, but but now I'm kind of in charge of it.
Well, that's very cool. And it can, in the times that I've been there, it's like cold. It can be like really cold. And so then, and a lot of these people are outdoors. So, like, when they're warming themselves by a fire, they're really trying to get close to the fire.
Yeah, we've been snowed on. We've had
Yeah.
some winds
Right.
some years. We never really had a good rain on us.
Yeah,
yet,
thankfully.
But we pray for good weather.
Yeah.
We have backups for everybody that's outdoors,
Yeah.
so that they can take a break and get out of the cold,
Yeah.
and then somebody else covers for them while they're taking a break.
Right. Now, you have live animals also.
We do.
Yeah.
We usually have some miniature horses and donkeys. Hopefully, we'll get some goats this year, sheep with the shepherds. And we have had a live camel in the past. The history of the live camel is they used to get this huge camel from somewhere in the Boise area named Clyde. And Clyde weighed almost 2,000 pounds. I was talking to his owner. Well, I don't know what happened to Clyde. I think Clyde passed away as well. And they said, well, we don't have a camel for this year. And I said, well, we used to live in Walla Walla, and every time you drive past Waitsburg, there's a camel sitting out there in the field. And so, so they contacted the man who owned that camel, and that was Izzy. Izzy was a very sweet camel, would like to give you kisses and let the kids hug her, and him, I think Izzy was a him. Anyway, so we had Izzy for a couple of years, and then Izzy passed away, not this last year, but the year before. So last year we didn't have a camel. Well, the owner, who lives in Prescott now, got a new camel. But the last time we contacted him, he said that his camel wasn't quite ready for prime time. So I don't know whether the camel isn't trained or what
Yeah.
the deal is. I'll have to call him and find out. So it looks like we'll have to do with camel cutouts or something this year instead.
Well, and that was always a big draw and a surprise, too, because you'd be like, that's a live camel, and so,
Right.
yeah. Well, man, that sounds cool. So, and so then if people do get there and they're cold, then, once you get to the inside and
It's nice and warm.
yeah, it is warm in there, and as you make your way through it, in the back, there's a place where they can sit down and they can have cookies and refreshments,
Right.
and
listen
just
to
hang
live
out.
and listen to live music, hot chocolate and coffee, and
Yeah,
so yeah, they can warm up.
yeah. So what as you've been involved in it, what have been the comments and responses that you've gotten from people in the past?
Well, told you about the person who didn't make it to the inside.
Yeah,
But
right.
for those that experience the entire thing, they really love it. And people come back year after year. We want to do a little more advertising than we did last year so that we get some people who haven't experienced it before. I talk to people that have lived here all their lives, and some of them have never been to it before. And
Yeah.
I would like them to be able to come out and experience it as well. But yeah, the kids have a good time. There's lots of activities for the kids, making candles, and the carpenter tells them stories and has them play a game while he makes them wooden hammers. And then, of course, this year there'll be a scavenger hunt for the kids. So yeah, they really enjoy it. People have told me anyway that they liked it.
So the scavenger hunt, is that going to take place kind of in the gymnasium? What's your plan there?
They'll be indoors for
Yeah.
that. The kids will have a card, and they'll run around from booth to booth trying to find the symbols that are hidden somewhere in the indoors, and they'll get a stamp each time they find a symbol, and then they'll turn their card in
Yeah.
at the fish market.
Very cool. And there's, I mean, talk a little bit. You mentioned there's a person who's making hammers, and talk about that a little bit. So the kids get to leave with stuff. That's the
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So
And the candles.
Right,
So
right.
they get to dip candles, and then they can take their candle home. And the carpenter is carving. He's talking to them the entire time, and he's carving hammers. And he makes these little wooden hammers and gives them to the kids. Puts their name on them.
yeah, yeah. Which is so then it's for the kids experiencing that. I mean, some of those things they'll never forget. That
Right.
experience.
There's also a fruit market where they have dried fruit, and they can taste different types of dried fruit that they may have never tasted before. They have dates and figs and all different kinds of things that you would have gotten if you had lived in the Middle East.
Yeah. Now, is there part of this that is special to you? I mean, have you researched this, or do you have a particular interest in some of these things that you pulled in culturally?
I have. So, for instance, and I got this from my grandson, who is being homeschooled, and they are studying ancient history, the history of Ur and the Sumer, and I think it's kind of the southern part of Iraq. And I discovered something really interesting. My interest has always been in biblical archaeology. I took a class in it when I was in college. So apparently, the religion of that southern area is very different to a lot of the religions around them. I think that they're monotheistic. They believe in one God. And the priests have always, it might be the sun that they're worshiping, but it's one thing. And the priests of that religion have always been open to finding truth and getting closer to God. And interestingly enough, the priests of that religion are called magi. So we are assuming that the wise men came from that area. They were always seeking truth. There were a lot of, this is my interest.
Yeah.
There were a lot of prophecies that they would have had access to. For instance, Daniel wrote he was living in Babylon when he wrote his prophecies. So that's the same basic region. They would have maybe had access to that. And the prophecy in Daniel is really interesting. If you read it, there's a 70 weeks prophecy, and it's supposed to start when the decree comes to rebuild Jerusalem. Well, the decree that actually came with help from, I think it was Cyrus, was given in 457 BC. And it's a 70-week prophecy. It's 69 weeks, which if you do a day for a year in the week, comes out to what? 469 years or something like that. If you go from the time period, 457 BC, that comes out right the year that Jesus started his ministry.
Interesting.
And then in that prophecy in Daniel, it says Messiah halfway through the last week, which is 7 years, Messiah will be cut off. And Jesus' crucifixion would have occurred exactly in 33, well, we assume that it's about 33, we don't use AD anymore, it's CE, Common Era.
Yeah.
And so the wise men, if they had had access to that prophecy, would have known about the time when Jesus would have been born
Interesting.
from the prophecy in Daniel.
Huh.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that come together. And so one thing that I want to do is have a card that has all the prophecies, and it will show you that through the prophecies in the Bible that Jesus fulfilled all those prophecies.
Interesting.
So,
Well, and I totally, when you look at the Bible, and I've spent a fair amount of time understanding that or trying to grasp it, or different stories of the Bible, it's super interesting when you add context, whether that be cultural context or historical context, and you come up with these things of like, this could have been
Right.
a factor, yeah,
Right.
and it's like it's like adding flesh onto the bones of a skeleton. It just brings new meaningfulness and so on. And we can speculate, and everybody has different speculations, but it's just interesting that you come up with these. This could have been the situation,
Right,
yeah,
right.
and I mean, it's like, I personally enjoy, the stories of Jesus and his disciples and his relationship with them and so on and so forth. But when you look at that culturally, it's a whole nother dynamic, and the video series, The Chosen,
Right.
has kind of done that. It's done, nobody's saying, hey, this is absolutely what happens, but it's saying this could have been this way given the context that it happened.
right. I haven't seen all of that.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if they talk about the fact that when in that time period, the best thing that you could happen if you wanted to follow a rabbi was you would be chosen by that rabbi.
Yeah.
And they were really picky about who they chose. They weren't
Yeah.
going to choose any Galileans for sure.
Yeah.
So when Jesus came along and chose them as disciples, that was actually a great honor for them.
Yeah.
They basically had been rejected by the rabbis in Jerusalem
Yeah.
just because they were Galileans.
Right.
So they would have been really honored to be Jesus' disciples because
Yeah.
he was considered the teacher. Rabbi means teacher.
Yeah. Super interesting. Yeah. And I really appreciate those types of stories. Again, not because they're absolute, but it gives you a little bit different perspective of what could have been going on in their motivation, and,
Right.
and so on and so forth.
Right. Did you see the House of David
Yeah,
series?
which
That
was again
that was
an
very
amazing,
fascinating.
Yeah,
There's a
and-
few things in there that you think, okay, they're trying to tie two many
Right,
things
right,
together. But basically, it was pretty fascinating about
Yeah.
what would have been going on during that time.
Yeah, and the House of David is on Prime, and and it's for those of you that haven't watched it, it's just it's the story of David before he killed Goliath, and kind of him being a shepherd boy and his eventually rise to being king, and so and his failings along the way,
Right.
And so, but yeah, the historical context, and that one is really well done. I mean,
thought
we
so.
we really enjoyed that. So, and again, I mean, these are stories that I've heard my entire life, and all of a sudden, it's just visualized in a way that's like, I mean, take that story. You hear of David being a shepherd and him being ruddy, meaning that he was puny, he was runty,
Right.
almost. And yeah, and then all of a sudden you see that visualized before you in context. It's, it's like, wow. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
It just
thought that was
adds a
well-
whole new meaning. Yeah. So, well, this is super cool, and this is, great. So give us the information about what's happening.
So this event is occurring December 12 and 13.
Okay.
It's the Friday and Saturday evening from 5 to 8
Okay.
p.m. It's at the Grande Seventh Adventist Church. 2702 Adams Avenue. If you don't know where that is, you get on Adams Avenue and drive out past Bi-Mart on your way to Union, and it's just right there on your right.
Yeah.
About a quarter mile down the road.
Right. So
We're pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
Don't go past Bi-Mart, though. Bi-Mart's not on Adams.
Well, no.
Yeah,
How
go
about Les
past
Schwab?
Rock&Sons.
Les
Right.
Schwab.
Yeah. No,
Right.
Rock&Sons.
Rock&Sons.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're one of our sponsors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and if you get to Geckler, you've gone too far.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if you're going past Bi-Mart, you're on the wrong road.
Yeah.
True. There is a turnoff to
Yeah.
Bi-Mart there. But
But I know what you mean. Yeah. So all right. And is there a cost to it?
no, it's free admission.
Okay.
You get free refreshments, and the kids get several little trinkets that they can take home.
Yeah.
cool.
So from 5 to 8. And again, that is December 11th or 12th and 13th.
12th and
So when is that? Is that this weekend?
That's not this weekend, but the weekend after.
Okay. Yeah. And that is that Friday and Saturday?
It is.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. No, this is awesome. Now, and if people want to donate to that, is there
There will be places where they
yeah,
can
where
donate.
they can kind of because there's expense involved in all this.
There is, and usually we get enough donations to carry us on to the next year.
Yeah.
The main expense in the past has been the camel,
Yeah.
because he rents the camel out. So we don't have that expense this year, but we still appreciate donations, and then hopefully we'll get the camel again next year.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different churches give different volunteers and
Right, music, and
Yeah.
they come out to help us set the whole thing up. That's kind of a big job. We'll
Yeah.
be doing that part this weekend.
and and it's so how long, kind of what is your anticipation of how long when they arrive in the parking lot and go through the census and go how long is that little tour before they get inside, do you think?
If the person who is the priest at the temple doesn't talk too long, it's supposed to be about 20 minutes.
Okay.
Or maybe a little bit less.
Okay.
And so since we have several wise men, each wise man will be leading a tour while the other tour is going on. So hopefully we can get people through quickly enough. I hope it doesn't back up too much. We have in the past had almost 1,000 people in one night show up.
Wow.
So last year it was a lot lower than that. So hopefully we can run everybody through that part of it in about 20 minutes at the most. And then they're going to take as much time as they want. Once they get into the village of Bethlehem, they can wander around and talk to the shop owners. And I don't know how long that part takes, because
Yeah.
usually I'm involved and I'm running through trying to get back to my post. And then they can sit and listen to music for as long as they want to. So the whole experience, you could probably be there an hour.
Okay.
That would be my guess.
Yeah. And it is, and it once you get into the inside, it accommodates kids. Kids can
Run around.
go and do their thing
go
and
from shop to
interact
shop,
with
talk
different.
to
Yeah,
them.
and all of the shop, everybody is in garb. They're
Right,
they're
right.
trying to be in character in some manner.
Correct.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for doing this, and thanks for keeping it going.
You're
And-
welcome, and thank you for having us here.
Yeah, I know how this kind of stuff is. It's hard. It takes a tremendous amount of time every year for it to do. To do it. I can tell you that if once you do take a break, it's just really easy to lose momentum and it fall by the wayside and not happen. And
Right.
so thank you, Rusty, for stepping up and helping them carry it on.
You're
So,
welcome.
yeah. All righty. And so one more time, next weekend, 12th and 13th, 5 to 8, next Friday and Saturday.
Not this coming.
No,
but
right,
The one
right,
after.
yeah. So the 12th and 13th, and go check it out. So, all right, good stuff. Thank you very much. All right, man, you want to get us out of here?
Let's do it. On this day, December 2nd, 1867, in a New York City theater, British author Charles Dickens gives his first public reading in the U.S. 1901, American businessman King Gillette begins selling safety razor blades. 1927, on this day, the first Model A Ford sells for $385. 1988, on this day, ESPN airs its 10,000th edition of SportsCenter, making it the most televised cable program in history at the time. 2023, American rock band Kiss concludes their farewell tour at Madison Square Garden. The encore is performed by the premiere of digital avatars of the group. Number one movie in America, 10 years ago on this day, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. And then the quote of the day comes from Gray Vaynerchuk. Skills are cheap, passion is priceless. One more time. Skills are cheap, passion is priceless.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
and Rusty, thank you for your passion
Yep.
with that. Yeah. All righty, thank you guys. We'll see you soon.